Well, hello everybody. Um, Today's topic is God and technology. Sure is. I gotta get chat up. Just bear with me, y'all. Come on. Uh, why is I'm having technical difficulties? All right, now I need to pop the chat out. Just bear with me, guys. I'll be there. I'm still here. It's just why is it buffering? Well, where's Bashful? I'm also eating. Hello. Hello, ASMR Kitty. Um, I'm not talking about the topic right yet. I'm waiting for someone to come up just so I can start talking about the topic. And the topic is, does God use technology? He uses a telescope. Just waiting for someone to get here. I'm eating fries. I just got through eating 2 hot dogs with my fries. Some good old fries. Hey, Mrs. Twin. Just waiting for somebody to get here. Waiting for Bashful to come up here. There she is.
I'm here.
All right.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Hello, twin.
Hello, everybody. After I get done eating,
I'm
gonna start talking about this.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Wait for some people to get in here. I'm pretty sure there'll be more than 5 people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It doesn't hurt to wait and let people come on in.
Then I want to hear people's opinions
Mm-hmm.
about this.
So you're having French fries for dinner?
Yeah, I just got through eating 2 hot dogs and some French fries.
Mm.
Well, how's your day been?
Well, I've changed my mind again. My interview was a joke, so I decided I'm not staying in Indiana.
Oh, real? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I think that was my sign that I need to go back to Tennessee.
You're coming back to Tennessee? Sweet. You'll be close to me again.
I will. Yep, I'm going to Bellevue. I can't believe you don't know where Bellevue's at. I just
I know where it is.
Oh, well, why the hell did you tell me you didn't?
You know me, I'm always saying crazy shit.
Yeah, I can't ever believe anything you
Acting
say.
stupid and pretending I don't know nothing. And
Yeah, I can't believe nothing you say. So Dustin is an atheist.
he's an atheist.
Uh-huh.
Well, after what he hears tonight, it might make him a believer.
Uh, never know.
You never know. You're like, Have you ever thought about it like that?
I have never thought about it like that. No, I have not.
That's the way I've always thought about the way God is.
That's the way I think too, Donna. God can do anything and everything.
Yes, he can.
But I can also respect and understand people that do not believe in God.
Hey,
Because
Superman.
it's difficult to believe in something that
Him.
you can't see. And there's no proof that believers are right, so I can definitely respect other people's opinions.
It's Nick Jones.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Bashful. Yeah, Muggsy.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Alright, it's fucking knackered.
Huh?
Knackered. Tired.
Oh, that's a new one. I've never heard that one before. Say it one more time.
I'm knackered.
Knackered?
Yeah, fucked.
Okay.
I thought you said you was naked.
He probably is.
I am, actually. Do you want to have a look?
No, I do not.
Why am I not surprised? Get up here, Wilderness.
So, Nick, you ready to have your mind blown?
Yeah, when Bashful sits on my face.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, Nick.
Oh, I've definitely blown tonight looking at Bashful's picture.
Oh.
Nick, did you read the title of my video?
I don't believe in it.
Well, that's what we're talking about tonight. I ain't started talking about it yet, but I'm fixing it.
Oh, that's alright then.
Let him finish his French fries and let some more people come in.
Hey, Tommy Brown.
Hello,
Okay.
Tommy. Twins a pagan.
I can't believe I got a strike today on YouTube.
What'd you get a strike for?
Harassing trolls. What I do best.
Well, that ain't right that they give you a strike for harassing trolls.
What are you on about? 2 weeks ago, I already got ready 2 strikes.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
All right.
I've never gotten a strike on YouTube. I've never been in Facebook jail.
Yes, you are right, Hidden Hand. I do believe that demons are using technology, but I also believe that. I mean, I'm not saying that I believe it. I mean, this is just a theory that I've come up with, and it's been in my mind for a long time. All right, here
So
I
you
go.
gotta believe it.
Does God use technology? If he did, it would be like he has a really big computer system that is storing all of our souls in it after we die. Right?
Right?
In order for us to come back to Earth, he uses this technology in a computer system that has already read our minds from the point we was born. It is that is how we have a everlasting life.
Okay, so your theory is that, well, no, my first question is, when you say we come back, what do you mean? Where do we come back?
We're in a spiritual form.
Okay, so when we come back to the earth as a spiritual form,
Right.
then
Well, and that all it is our mind in a computer system, and it's like we are a hologram, but it's a hologram that chooses to be seen and chooses not to be seen.
That could be fun.
It's kind of I've had this stuff on my mind for years, man. I've thought about it a lot.
Oh no, Mugsy, that could be fun coming back as a spirit. I could sneak into Bashful's bathroom.
I spend a lot of time there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Mugsy.
Yeah, darn it, computers are like a big brain. And
Yeah, but there's one thing with me, Mugsy. I won't be going to heaven or hell. I won't go to I won't go to heaven because I'm scared of heights, and I won't go to hell because it's too warm.
It's too warm.
too warm up.
Hello, Austin.
Chaos and epic adventures. And whenever people say that there's like God is magic, he can magically do stuff.
Mhm.
It's not that he's magic. There's got to be some kind of machine that's in between God. I mean, there's God, the machine, and Earth. All right. In order for him to have, like, say, a loved one visit you that has passed,
Mhm.
he has to use this machine that has already read all of your uh, thoughts, just read your mind from the day he was born. And it's already stored in there, and he's using this machine. And it's like free will machine. Whenever we're in this machine, we still have free will. We're in like a database, spiritual database.
Spiritual database.
Yes. It's just it's just an analogy. I don't really believe in it, but the way technology is coming about these days, that's what I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, there's got to be some kind of advanced technology, like super advanced technology
I
coming
mean,
from somewhere else.
it, a possibility for sure. My question is like, okay, you said you've been thinking about this for a long time. What experience? Did you read something? Did you see something? What made your brain start to go into this theory?
Loads of pot.
I thought of this myself, and then here recently I just decided to look it up on Google.
So there
And I
wasn't
actually,
anything that just
and I
like,
actually, and I actually found a story like mine on Google.
right?
I sure did.
So just randomly your brain you just started thinking about God in that way.
Yep, sure did. Sure did. I also believe that He created us. I mean, He created everything. He created the earth,
Right.
put it here. He created everything, and then he first started with earth, and then He started making us.
So why, when he got to females, did he stop creating things on Earth?
Because I really don't know. It's already all done.
You me to
It was
tell you
done.
why? Because we were perfection.
We were done. He was done.
Oh shit.
Right. He finally perfected his creations when he created females, so he was done. Don't say bullshit, Nick.
Yeah, well, he didn't do a good job because females are absolute pain in the ass.
Sorry, Brittany, I didn't see you down there.
Whatever.
Bashful.
Hello, Hazel. How are you?
Oh shit.
What do you think?
Yes, Donna, I know that. I know God created our brains so we can create this technology and stuff. And the reason why the reason why it's like that is because we are in His image, in His same image. You know what I mean?
God created us in His image for a reason.
Right. It's just God is a super it's super technology, like very high advanced technology. And He's our creator.
Tommy Brown says no one can question God's will.
That's right. What if I was right? What if all it is our eternal life is a like a big computer system that reads our minds, and you're just in this computer system, but you still have free will, and it's like some kind of machine that is like has all these like sound. It's like it's like Wi-Fi. Say we have Wi-Fi waves that like signal waves from TV and stuff like that. But what if this was like some kind of super fast vibrating waves that lets spirits move things and stuff like that? Like the stronger the spirit is, that the faster the waves move. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird.
Hello, Lisa.
Yeah, Hidden Hand said everything is a frequency. Yeah, Dustin. That what if factor. You're right.
Hidden Hand said it's called simulation theory. It's the
Mm-hmm.
book that The Matrix was based on.
Right.
A hydroelectric universe.
That's right. Yeah, I've read into that. I've read into hydroelectric universe and stuff like that. Brittany, your hair is like purple or blue. What the heck happened?
I like it. It looks good.
No, I know that her hair is purple blue. I know she dyed it. I was saying, what the heck happened because she fell out.
Oh. Well, I'm watching the live stream. I mean, on YouTube, and mine's delayed a little bit. Mach 1, I don't want to buy the Camaro. I want the Cutlass.
Yeah, sorry, Mach 1. You can't have that Cutlass. You can buy the Camaro, though.
That's what my nephew has, is the Cutlass. There is a possibility that there is a database, as Muggsy said, and that's the reason that our brains were able to come up with technology on Earth, because it's something that God's already using and has in existence.
Yeah. You know how people say that they saw their life flash before their eyes, like in a really fast, like it was being fast forwarded whenever they die. And another thing I was thinking about, what it is, it's God that's using His technology. He's pulling all the information from your brain.
Hello, Container Man.
It's just running through so fast. It's just pulling all the information from your brain. It's just running through so fast that's how you see your life flash before your eyes. It's kind of weird to think about it like that too, ain't it?
It is. It's definitely an interesting concept. Hazel was up here, but something happened with her computer, I think, or phone.
Yeah.
No, it's me, Container Man.
What if the human race started out as like technology?
Like robots?
Yeah, like robots. And they just got so advanced. Now we're like flesh and blood. And
Or maybe the robots went in the way as like the dinosaurs. God got bored with the robots and destroyed all of them and then recreated us.
yeah.
Muggsy's on a really deep level. Oh, Container Man's got the spinning wheel of death. Oh no. Hello, fat boy.
Hey, fat boy. Where's the link, Brittany? You just put the link in. I'm going to have to send it back to you again. There it is.
Hello, Joseph.
Yeah, any donations are greatly appreciated.
Muggsy needs donations to send him to a mental hospital. I'm teasing you.
I probably do. Yeah, I need some donations.
I'm teasing you. We need to go have Muggsy's brain experimented on. Spirit science. The hidden history of humanity.
Thoth and Friends.
Is that a book, Hidden Hands? I wish I would have had more time to like really look into this subject and read up on some things, but Container Man wants the StreamYard link.
He says, I don't want PayPal StreamYard link. Well, don't click on it. What are you saying? You do want the links or you don't want them?
Nick's being quiet over there.
Yeah, he is. His mind is going crazy now since after he heard what I said.
He's got Joseph scared. I'll talk to Hannah privately later. That's cool. You have me on Facebook. And I found you on Twitter. I just don't use my Twitter at all, really. I'm very rarely over on Twitter. I'm on Facebook more than I should ever be. Oh, shit.
There's the StreamYard link. Yeah, so I want people's thoughts on what I was talking about God. Is God technology?
Well, to a believer, yes, God has to have, like, let me see how I'm going to say this. We wouldn't have technology without God. So there definitely is a possibility that God uses technology to, I don't know.
No.
I don't really understand why God would have to, like, put our thoughts into a database. But again, I didn't really have time to, like, read into this and see, like, where this thought process comes from. So, and
God uses technology to keep his Twitter up to date.
oh, that would really mess with people's mind if all of a sudden God started tweeting.
All right, Bashful.
Oh, we would be scared to death. Container Man doesn't believe in God. That's a common thing. But
that's your opinion. All
Yeah.
people's opinions matter.
Well, I believe in God. I really do.
Well, like you said, but there is a higher being. So maybe it's just a difference of, like, what.
You know how God says. You know how God says He created us in His own image.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, think of it like this: He created us in His own image. It's just Him, just like us, with no kind of like secret technology coming out of His body. It's this technology that's at His fingertips. Just like we are at a computer like this.
It would probably be easier to keep track of everything and everybody if he had some kind of database like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's just advanced.
My question is like, why, when we go to a spirit form, would our memories be separated and have to go through, like, have to be put into a database? Why would we lose our memories by just going into spirit form?
We won't lose our memories.
Then what's the purpose of our memories and our thoughts being put into a database then?
So we can have the eternal life. And we still have our free will. It's like we're a bot inside of a computer.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like these other devices that allows us to roam and puts out a signal,
Oh,
like a highly advanced signal that it's
Now,
just
I can get behind that theory that there is like a data or a computer system that is used to send out waves so that our souls can travel through the waves.
right. That's right.
Get behind that theory. But I just don't know why that database would have to be used to save our memories and stuff. Unless simply our brains just aren't capable of actually holding that much information, and maybe that's a possibility. Because we don't really know very much about how the brain functions. I mean, we know some, but we just don't know everything about the way the brain functions.
Right.
But if we were to figure out this whole situation with the
Hey,
super,
Container
is
Man.
that too much information for us to have, and could that possibly be like our ending, like where Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge and they
Right.
weren't supposed to? Maybe we're not supposed to know these things either, and maybe it's dangerous um, to dig into this kind of information, and we're just not supposed to know.
You're right, Donna. We just know what we've been taught and told.
Container Man can't get his mic to work. Fun fact. And more people have been killed in the name of God than any other thing on earth. That's true. That's true. There's definitely been a lot of religious wars, and people have lost their life because of their beliefs, and non-believers have lost their lives. So yeah, I definitely know that that's a thing. It's a sad reality.
I honestly thought my mic was muted. I'm so sorry.
You want to fry?
Oh, don't cry because a woman can out burp you.
I said, do you want to fry?
That's right. Hidden hands. People need to be able to agree to disagree and move on. Yeah.
Right.
No, I thought you said I'm gonna cry.
No.
But there's also nothing wrong with being able to be adults and have a conversation, even though you don't necessarily have the same opinions. You should be able to respect each other's opinions and, again, move on, But a lot of people have a hard time doing that. They get
Amen to that.
their feelings
Even though I
hurt.
don't know what my secrets are.
Okay. Container Man has got a good question. He said, if God created us all in his image, how many faces does God have? How many people are on this planet?
God
The only
has
thing
one
that's
face.
the only things that's separating us from
Oh,
looking different from each other is DNA. I mean, genes.
I don't know. We all wear different kinds of jeans. I mean, there's bell-bottom jeans, skinny jeans, blue jeans. Oh,
You know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
sorry. You're being serious. My bad. Sorry, I'm out of here.
People should just move on. End of story.
What the hell?
Sometimes that's the case, Gatha. Joseph says, "What the fuck, Mike can out-burp you, Brittany."
Whenever I was in jail, there was a preacher. There was a preacher in there.
In jail with you?
No, he would come. He would come every night and talk to us about God and stuff.
Right.
Well, I told him about my theory about God and technology.
Mm-hmm.
He about shit a brick. Because he was putting all this stuff together, as I was saying. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, yo, whoa, what? Saying stuff like, he's like, you could be right.
You could be. I mean, nobody knows for sure. That's the mystery of God, is nobody knows exactly for sure what God is, or what God's plan for us really is, or if there's a God. For myself, I would be terrified to think that when I die, it's just over with. We're all aliens. I believe that. I don't believe that Earth is the only planet that God has beings on, for sure. And I don't think that we're all in the same form as we are on Earth.
So, Container Man is saying that every single different race that's on Earth is coming from a different planet. So we're aliens.
And that's a possibility, that we all started out on different planets, and then God just slowly started incorporating different races,
And putting them together.
right? Just to see how we would treat each other and interact together. It's kind of like the Big Brother show, where they put a bunch of different people that come from different walks of life all together. It's a social experiment to see how they interact with each other.
Right.
All right, so now we got Gaff up here. He's going to explain it all to us. I'm ready.
Had the wrong headphones on. Damn. Explain what all?
The topic that we're talking about.
Your knowledge, Gaff.
What knowledge?
Oh, that's all we use you for, Gaff, is your knowledge. That's why we like you, because you're kind of smart.
I thought that's what WTF Mike was there for.
Oh, well, yeah, we need Mike too.
What knowledge do you need now? Other than Brianna, stay off the source, girl.
Container Man says you need to go watch the movie Stargate with Kurt Russell. That explains everything. I think I remember seeing that
Oh, God. Hold on. Are we talking about opinions now, or are we talking about technology and God?
Talking about technology and God.
And both.
Because when it comes to opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one. I can guarantee you, two are never going to be alike. So there's always going to be disagreement. People should just move on. If they don't believe what that person's saying is what they believe is, just move on. Don't even bother with the argument. It's not worth their hassle. Does God use technology? Seriously, Muggsy, that's the question you want to ask.
Yeah.
He's God. He don't need technology. He can do anything.
Right. And he has to have technology to do anything.
No, he didn't. He can do anything. He's God.
He made us in his own image. So that means he made us just like him.
Image
himself.
In his image, and a statue can be an image.
Right.
Picasso made images. None of them look human to me.
Well, what is there making us have eternal life after we die?
Who says we do?
God.
Name one person you have spoken to after they've dead.
God says there's eternal life.
No. The Bible says there's eternal life. I've never heard a word from God the whole time I've been here. I've read the Bible. I know exactly all about what's the Bible says eternal life.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's the problem though, Muggsy. Man wrote the Bible, not God. True or
Right.
not?
It's true.
It's very
So
true.
we've only got the opinion of a man about what he thinks God had said. God has never written anything. And if God is what the Bible says is, God can do anything. He don't need technology. If God thinks it, it exists. What the hell is technology going to do to improve that?
Well, what I'm saying is that God is sitting at a computer desk just like we are, and he's got all this advanced technology and everything. He can do what he wants to do with it.
I know, but you're thinking of God as an entity from a human perspective. You got to remember.
Right.
Hold on. Here's the got to remember. Do you believe that animals have thought?
Yeah, they have thoughts.
Do you believe that animals have feelings?
Yep.
So do you believe that animals believe in God?
I don't know. They don't. I mean, they don't think like we do.
I know, but do you think that animals believe in God? Because if God created the world and everything on it, where did he get the image of animals?
He just done it himself.
Exactly the same thing with humans. We are
Done it.
the most arrogant race and creature on this earth to believe that God looks like us. How do you know he doesn't look like a unicorn or a warthog or a sloth or even nothing we could even imagine?
Right.
Just
That's
we're
what I.
arrogant enough to think he's actually human form.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's human form. I think he's something we could never even imagine.
Could he just be light?
Could
You
be
got to
just.
remember, first there was nothing, then there was light. On the second day, what did he create? That's the question, mate. The Bible tells you exactly how he went about getting existence to be and everything to be in a very, very general term, but yes. So how do you know God isn't just pure light?
Nobody
And if
knows.
he did it, exactly, yeah, but in the Bible, they assume that we are the image of God. Well, hold on. That's a very, very, very arrogant assumption. How come the deers and the antelopes and the elephants and the giraffes and everything else don't have the same thought? They can think. They have feelings. The only thing that makes us apart in my books from animals, and this is our opinion and our investigations, is they can't read and write. They have feelings. They have thoughts. They have instincts. The same thing we have.
They don't know how to talk either.
No, they do
Oh, no.
communicate.
They communicate with each other quite well.
Very much
They
so.
do. We just don't understand them.
Right. But they understand us.
Yeah, they learn to understand our speech and they learn to understand our mannerisms. That's the most basic form of communication there is. But they have communication. The difference is they don't know how to read and write.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our claim to knowledge and communication. Our intelligence. They say our intelligence is the opposable sum. Yet there are animals out there that can grip things just as well as what we do. Birds can pick up tools and use tools to do whatever it is that they need to do to achieve what it is they do. The crow is one of the most intelligent birds in the world. The bottom line is the only thing we do different from animals is we read and write, which means we have a little bit more complex communication system, which then allows us to progress to the other complex things that we do. So does God have technology? I don't see any need for him to have it. He's God. Everything the Bible tells you about God, God is everything. God is everywhere. God can do everything. I've never yet come across technology that can make somebody be everywhere. Hi, Lisa. We are all just a few generations from being invisible and forgotten. Exactly. There is no right or wrong answers. There are opinions, beliefs, and faith.
Faith, definitely.
So
Well,
no matter what,
I gotta go to the bathroom.
no matter what people tell you, Muggsy, what you believe is never wrong. It's what you believe, and that's all that matters.
Hello, Supermom.
So how are we today, Bashful, other than invisible?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm sorry, your opinion on that matter is just not enough to me. I need to see it.
Oh, I'm working over here right now.
Hey, Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. So, do we think that animals actually communicate with God in a way that we can't? Is that a possibility?
Of course, it's a possibility. The one thing we have learnt as human beings over the eons of generations that we have lived is what we believe to be possible is minimal compared to what is actually possible. You remember there was a time where we believed flying was only the thing the gods could do.
Right.
And the coming back from the dead and recounting what you saw over there, people still have problems believing that some people have done that.
Right.
So animals talking to God and God talking to animals. If God is the true creator, would you create something you couldn't talk to?
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. You need to be able to have the ability to communicate with all the forms of life that you've created.
True.
And you got to remember, Donna, the one thing that I have concluded from my experiences in life is people who have crossed over have come out with similar or very not similar reports of what they've seen on the other side. And I think personally, oh, Missy, we changed our name to Supermum. Hello, beautiful. I really do believe our conscious develops images and recollections of what we believe we saw and experienced over there because it's our only way our brain can handle what we see or what we understand. You go through the death experience. I mean, you think about it, go through death. How is your mind going to cope with the worst thing that could ever happen to you in your life?
Right.
We can't go through trauma and sickness and war and all that kind of stuff without having some kind of defense mechanism built around it afterwards. So dying, which is probably the scariest thing any human being could ever exist, even animals would be a fear of dying. Your
Right.
brain, if you survived it, would do anything it could to make it acceptable and tolerable and understandable.
What happened to my sound?
Bigfoot's a heat seeker. My definition of spirituality and religion is a group of people who have the same belief and faith and ideals. Spirituality is how you deal with your well, basically your maker, as I suppose you would put it down.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you do, Nancy. Yes, you do. Don't say that.
I think it's a natural built-in mechanism to fear death to some degree.
I can tell you now, any robot with the slightest strength of consciousness that it even exists would fear being turned off.
What if we're advanced? Hey, what if we're advanced robots?
What if we are? What if the
Yeah.
Matrix is actually true?
It could be. Never know.
No, it could well be, mate. What if the Matrix is actually how our life is, and this is all an illusion created in our mind while we are batteries for the greater purpose?
Never know. What if the human race started out as like robots, and then the technology got so much better, then we're just like we have flesh now.
Yeah. Well, that would be the ultimate robot, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Regenerating, growing robots. But then it doesn't explain death.
Right.
It doesn't explain death. It may explain growth. It may explain birth and developmental, but it doesn't explain death. If you have perfected a robot to the stage where it could regenerate and build itself and do whatever it is, why would you let it die?
Right.
For population.
And then there's the other conclusion. Why do we need procreation and genders? Same argument I got with the Doctor Who saga of changing a doctor from a male to a female. Doesn't that then kill out the whole idea of having genders if they can change genders anytime they need to? Then why would you have genders? Why couldn't you just all be one gender and just all of you give birth to children when required?
Just wouldn't like it.
No. So it'd be the same with that. If we're all robots, what's the point of dying? What's the point of having children when we could live forever? You know as well as I do, Muggs, even when you have children, no matter how much you teach your children, you don't pass yourself onto those children. So the whole idea of being a robot would be ridiculous. Just for those two little things, having children and dying, it kind of like defeats the whole purpose of being a robot. The robot should, if it's what robots are all about that we understand, should be there to constantly improve itself.
Maybe it's a robot that's designed to die,
But why?
to have everlasting life,
How do you have everlasting life if you die?
to have eternal life.
And then there's the question: if there is no such thing as eternal life, what have you done with it? So that's my philosophy in life. Make the best out of what you got here. That way, if there's nothing over there, at least you had a good life. If there is something over there, you got the best of both lives.
That's a good philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good philosophy.
What the heck, Brittany? She's like, please donate for his everlasting life.
Yeah, I don't carry big sticks. I just do a lot of thinking. I've asked these questions, Muggsy's asking these, but I did mine about 30 years ago. How old are you, Muggsy?
31.
Yeah, be about right. So the question is, all right, so let's assume, and I do this because I'm an atheist, but let's assume that God exists. We are put on this earth to live a life, and as Muggsy would say, so that we could achieve everlasting life. There still becomes a big question: why? Why do we need to achieve everlasting life? What is on the other side that we will be doing that's important enough for us to go through the shit that we go through in this world to get to that world?
Don't know, man.
Yeah, that's one question nobody's ever been able to come back and give the answer to.
Well, the hope is
And
to go to a place where we have everlasting peace as well as everlasting life.
yeah,
Right.
I still reckon it's a very human thing to say though, Hannah. You think
Right.
about it. Try and take out the humanity of all the answers that come out, and you'd be surprised how hard that is.
Right.
The Bible says that when we get to the other side, we shall worship Him at His feet and live a life of eternal peace. But hold on, aren't I worshiping somebody at their feet? But then doesn't that make me a slave and a crony and all that kind of thing? The thing that we've been spending our lives trying not to be in the first place.
Well, that's a scary thought that I've never really examined.
I'm all willing to follow the doctrine of Christianity and Muslim and everything else, because I really do think that is the proper way to live your life. Respect others, be kind to others, do everything you can to make a world grow better and better and better.
Brittany, why did
But
you
if
have to put that in there? Please donate to bring Laura Lee to America. Come on now.
well, remove it, Muggsy. You're the boss.
Oh my God, Container Man. Oh.
Yes. It is. I reckon the scariest part of dying is the discomfort you have to go through to get to that point.
Right.
Dying. I've never watched anyone peacefully die. I hear people have peacefully died in their sleep, but it's only hearsay unless the wife next door was awake watching them. Nobody really knows whether you peacefully die, and the discomfort that is experienced by the people I do know about is not something I'm really looking forward to.
Right.
Yeah, you're right, Susie. What happens if all this? What happens if here's an idea, Muggsy. Take into consideration that when religion was born, we were the most naive, uneducated, and inexperienced race that ever hit this earth. It was that long ago. We were only just learning to write. To write. We were only just learning to philosophize. We had ideas of fire being a wondrous thing and all that kind of stuff. What happens if, prior to our ability to be contemplating things, aliens put us on this world? And we are an experiment, and aliens were our gods. Of course, if we see aliens flying in the sky, we've got to believe they're gods, because that's how naive and innocent we were about things. We were scared of anything that moved. So we are an experiment, and we are now coming to the conclusion of the experiment.
Yeah, I've
So
read
what
about
happens
that
if,
kind
when
of
we
theory
die,
too.
all we are alien play toys?
That's another way of looking at it.
The other way to look at it is an ant farm. What do the ants think of us when we're sitting there looking at them through the glass?
I don't know.
Norton
know.
Hears a Who. Have you ever watched that cartoon, Norton Hears a Who?
Yes.
Yeah.
You ever consider that we're the Who?
Yes, I have. I've considered that we're like a chess game to God in a sense.
Yeah, the vastness of the universe. God built the universe. The universe, so far from what we can ascertain, is massive. And
Yep.
phenomenally massive, and according to scientists' predictions and observations, is still growing. And there's one God made one world with us on it. Why? We've got what we need. Why the hell do we need the rest of the universe?
I do believe that there's other entities in this universe, not just us.
And so where then, if you take into consideration everything that says about the Bible is in the sky.
No.
The Bible never actually says where hell is. You know that, don't you? We say where hell is. Bible never actually says it. So the heavens are in the sky. Well, the heavens are also outer space. So then wouldn't that mean that maybe the heavens and the gods are actually in outer space?
Maybe they're on a big ship.
Maybe they're on their own planet.
Yeah.
And isn't it a little bit arrogant of the human race to think that the world was put on here for their use?
Oh yes, definitely very arrogant for humans to think that.
You have a look at the complexities of this world and all the different insects and all the different forms of life we have here, and it was all put on this world for our entertainment and our use. Damn, we're an arrogant bunch, aren't we?
We are.
So bottom line is, if we were a fish tank, we are the aggressive fish that kills everything else just for our entertainment and rips up all the plants and then whinges that nothing looks right. Maybe we are, Susan. Maybe we are.
Hello, hippie chick.
Okay, I missed that. If we're a fish tank, we're what?
We're the most aggressively arrogant fish that goes around eating all the other fish just for our entertainment, bullying all the other fish that we can't eat and ripping all the plants up and then whinging about how bad it is in here.
Very true.
Because exactly what we've done. We are the Western civilization, as we call ourselves, are the only race that have never been one with the earth. And everyone who has been one with the earth and lived in balance with nature and everything else, we've called them savages and we've educated them to be better. Have a look at the Aztecs and the Mayans. Have a look at the American Indians, the Australian Aboriginal, the New Zealand Kiwis or Maoris, Africans. They all live comfortably within their own habitat without destroying it, without wiping it out. And white man and Europeans come along and taught them how to farm and how to grow things and build things, and we wiped out habitats and species. And
Balloon not Dave.
cheers, bitches.
Freaky Girls believes we evolved and we're here for no real reason.
No, I reckon we are the virus of the earth.
Ooh.
We grow and we grow and we grow and we give no benefit back. I'd say fungus, but even fungus does some good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. The virus of the earth. Oh my goodness. But we definitely are, because we destroy the earth. That's absolutely true.
Has anyone seen Escape from New York?
No,
Never seen Escape from New York with Kirk Russell?
I don't watch movies, Gaffa.
New York had been turned into a prison because they had so many people who were breaking the law in America. They needed to have a big enough prison, so they just closed up New York and just dropped everybody in there and said, fend for yourself. I reckon maybe, as Susie says, we are a prison planet. We were dumped on here ages ago because we deserved it, and we've just populated and been told to fend for ourselves. Yep. All infection is life. I don't believe all infection is life. I think all of life, we are the infection. I think we are the anomaly that should never existed. We are AIDS. We are Ebola. We're whatever you'd like to call it, but we're not the good thing of life. And I don't know why we haven't been wiped out. And every time we do think we're going to get wiped out, we get too intelligent and stop the wipe out. Yes, unfortunately, I don't condone what Muslims are doing, but I do understand why they've been fighting Christianity for so long. Anyway, that's just some thoughts that you can be having. Anyway, and if the discussion is getting a little bit too deep for you folks, blame Munsey. He asked the question.
No, it's interesting. It definitely gives you something to think about. And that was your point of having this panel tonight, right, Muggsy? So that you could kind of voice your opinion and have other people voice theirs as well.
Yes, originally religion was the original reason for religion was control. To control the masses, to have them all think of the same thing, to have them all focused on the one point in life, which back in the time when it was invented, it was a good thing because it gave communities a reason to be. to work together and to build, because they all had the same individual things. But we've outgrown religion massively. We've invented governments, we've invented money, we've invented businesses and everything else, and religion just has no place in that. Religion now is an escape system where people who can't understand what's going on have somewhere to go to feel comfortable. I said, what was the question? I mean, if you read the chat, does God use technology? No, Susie, no. I don't want anyone in chat to feel like they need to leave because their opinions don't seem to fit in, or they don't feel offended, or that you've done something wrong.
Hello, Izzy.
Hello, Izzy.
I'm not here to tell everybody not to be Christian. I'm not here to tell everybody not to be Muslim, or that Christian is good or Muslim is good. I'm just here to have a discussion with people who want to talk about the same thing. So, people, I mean, you think you've got any other ideas? Does God use technology?
Muggsy, for the people that just came into the chat, why don't you repeat what your thought process in the beginning was? You've been quiet for a minute.
Oh, maybe you are, Bigfoot. I would like to believe that I'm not wasted 60 years of my life up to now for now. I'd like to think that everything I've learnt and everything I've done has amounted to something. But then when you come to the conclusion, isn't that why we have kids? So that we can teach the next generation what we've learnt and pass it on, and then they can get on with life and do exactly the same thing we did.
A bit better.
I'll repeat what I said at the beginning. Whenever I first said, "Does God use technology?" Is God just someone that's just like us, like he's on another planet, but he's got this big old computer system in front of him, and it's like all this memory and stuff, and that's how what he uses to give us eternal life. Because whenever we die, he's got this machine computer that has got these rays and stuff or whatever it does, and it reads our minds and it puts our mind into this database, and that is what gives us eternal life.
Yeah.
Could it be like that?
There was an episode in Doctor Who called The Library. And there was a virus in this library. The library was a universal library. It was full of books, massive. All the universities used to go there to get all their information. And the library had a virus, and the computer was uploading the people that came to the library and put them into their data banks to save them. So the computer was doing exactly what it was, uploading and saving, uploading and saving, uploading and saving. Maybe that is exactly what we are doing, what Muggsy's thinking. When we die, we're uploaded, we're saved, and we appear in a dream state in that little database that's being built, thinking that we have eternal life.
Right.
And all we are is a database.
And that's what our brains is data. I mean, whenever we think of stuff, we remember it. So it's kind of like a computer.
Old beer buzzard, where did you get that statement from? Is that your personal opinion that you've written out there, or is that a quote from the Bible?
Brittany said she popped her back and it felt goon.
Yes, you're right, Lothar. He gives us the freedom to do as we please, but the ability to choose right from wrong, and the power to know what is right and what is wrong.
Dave said, LOL, those damn ghost sims, right? That's how ghosts are formed, is from by a computer. God
Well,
controls
old busy. Does anyone see Old Beard Buzzard? Because he seems to have a very
Yeah, I read his.
direct attention.
Mrs. Twin.
No, we didn't do jack shit. You chose to be sidetracked.
Right.
I'm supposed to be painting a ceiling right now, and I chose to come and have a conversation.
Quote from the Bible.
Quote from the Bible is simplicity. When you know the word, you will know if it's in the Bible or my own opinion.
The Bible.
Bottom line is, you're right, old buzzard. But not everybody, unless you're constantly reading Bible 24/7, not everybody can remember every single scripture word for word from the Bible. The problem with the Bible is it's too general and opinionated. That's my opinion.
And the Bible was written by humans.
Exactly. That's the flaw in the Bible that people keep forgetting. The Bible was penned by man and therefore has the influence of man in it.
Absolutely.
It cannot be the word of God. It can only be the interpretation of the word of God.
Hey, Gaff, you know how people say that they saw their life go before their eyes? Like, have you ever talked to anybody that's died and they said they saw their life just like it was in a fast forward going through their, just they can see it in their eyes, their mind, or whatever?
Yep.
My opinion, I mean, I know this is probably not right, because you don't know nothing about God, how He really is. Nobody does. But what I think that is that's your brain getting, your mind getting uploaded to the database.
But why does it always happen when you could possibly die, not when you do die? I know lots of people who said that I've watched life pass in front of my eyes and I thought I was going to die and then they didn't.
It's because that switch is always on for whenever that moment happens.
Well, I agree with you in some of that context, but I think it's because it's a natural reaction. If we take into consideration that we are updating the database as our last resort to this so-called computer, I reckon there's a natural reaction that the switch gets turned on in a state of ending. When you think your time is nigh, you're going to end, your brain automatically switches into and collates your life into a understandable think of the word in a minute, form or format, and that's what you're watching, is your brain sitting there collating the information as it's flying past through your subconscious and your conscious.
Right.
Just like a computer sits there and runs through its processes when it boots up every single time.
Right.
And yeah, it's basically, as you would say, if we're uploading database, it's making sure that all its files are in the correct place and that everything is ready to go before it gets shot up. And then when you don't die in the situation, it goes, oh, well, at least I was ready.
Right.
There you go.
That's how the way I think of that.
I'm a strong believer in God. I don't know about God having anything to do with technology, but I do believe the power of prayer, and I do believe all things are possible when you put it in God's hands. I understand that thought, Lisa, but the question I've got is, with all the people that are on this world, and you got to remember, this is only one world. As I said to Muggsy before, why do we have the universe? Why is the universe so vast when we can't see it from where we stand unless there's specks of light in the sky? He could put those specks of light in the sky that we can see and nothing else, but there is more beyond those specks of light. And the more we look, the more we see. If that is the case, why does the universe exist if this world is the only place that God concentrates on? And if this is the only place that God concentrates on, and with all the people in the world, why do your prayers matter to him the most? And do all prayers matter to him the most? And why do some prayers not get answered?
That's what I was going to say. Why do some prayers not get answered if it's not?
I want to know what Luther saw. He said, I died for 5 minutes and I know exactly what's up there. What's up there, man?
You believe you know exactly what's up there, Luther.
I'd like to hear.
Come up, Luther. I'm sure Muddsy stuck a link in there somewhere, and you can click on it and come up and
Yep.
and have your say. That's the whole reason he's got the panel. Come up and say something.
Right.
Yes, there is one thing, freaky girls. I know of a scientist, a full-fledged scientist who questions everything about life, who also believes in God.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely scientists who believe in God.
Lisa, if you actually look at the history of the current Bible, the current Bible has actually been changed 4 times, depending on who the ruler at the time when the Bible was being written was.
Actually,
It's
7
been changed
times.
for his and his alone idea of what the religion should be pushing and what the faith should have. That's
Yep.
why it's called the King George Bible, because King George was the one who decided that that's what should be in the Bible. So the Bible has been edited and cut back so many times that it's half the size of its original scriptures. There's a lot of letters they found that should have been in the Bible that were removed by the Catholic Church.
Oh,
There
for
was
sure.
a time in history when it was against the law for the common man to actually read the Bible. You had to go to a church that a
Yeah,
priest.
well, my opinion of that, the reason why it was against the law for common man to read the Bible was because they might learn something they didn't want them to know.
Exactly.
But the Bible has been edited and cut down for the uses of the people who were in control. So the Bible is irrelevant.
So you wanted to know what I seen for 5 minutes when I died.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, let me explain to you what happened. I was in a doctor's office, and a doctor gave me this medication. I collapsed. He said I died for 5 minutes. When I came to, he gave me CPR, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. The medication they gave me, I don't know. Still to this day, I don't know what it was, but it dropped me in a second. He gave me another medication to get me back up. And I tell people this: when I fell down, I was blown from this planet, pretty much. Okay, like it felt like I was being dragged from the planet up into the sky, into the darkness, past the universe. When I got up to that other side, to that darkness, I was pretty much in a farmer's field. Okay, this might sound strange for something. On a beautiful sunny day, walking down a road, I seen a harvester cutting wheat, and on that harvester was my uncle. I know that. and there was like people eating on the bench outside. Like I was walking towards a farm, and my grandmother was sitting there with a bunch of other people. Now, my aunts, this is the strange part. A girl ran up to me, and she said her name, and which found it kind of unusual because she said my name. Her name was, my aunt's name, but my aunt would be older. But my aunt didn't have a good childhood, and she was smaller. After that, and 2 seconds later, I got sucked back with force. So, it could be my brain shutting down, thinking of this is like the end or whatever. And a lot of people have different stories. Some people see light. Some people don't see nothing at all. Some people don't have a belief on God. I have a belief on God. I believe in Jesus. That's my religion. But I don't force it on anybody. But is there like
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
We need to have questions along this. We can't just keep going on. I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Other than your family, did you see anybody else in your religious beliefs in your visit?
No.
All right. Is it possible, because you saw things that are available to us on Earth, that your brain was processing the information it was receiving to be in such a way that you would feel comforted and relaxed while you were there?
No, because one thing I hate is farms. I'm not a big fan of farms, stuff like that. So, like being out in the middle of a field would bug me more than anything else. But it just felt calm.
Yeah, fine. But is your family history farming?
No.
That makes another question that is weird.
Yeah, I know, and I can't explain it because it's like, if it was a dream, it would have been a dream, right? And it's not. And like, this might sound strange to you, but there are a lot of people who believe in the Mandela effect. Like, people who've said, I've been here before. You know what happens like Groundhog Day, the movie? But I believe sometimes you have Groundhog Life, or you have to redo your whole life over again. I'm a strong believer in that. I think I've been here before where at least 4 or 5 times before, where you have to redo your life over because it wasn't satisfied for yourself to do. You did too many mistakes and you have to do it over again. And I don't know if a lot of people believe in that, but
belief is one of the strongest things that keeps the human race getting to where they are. Belief and faith. I do agree with that. Unfortunately, my belief and faith don't have anything anchored to it at the moment.
No, but like that 10 Commandments sure knows men, doesn't it?
It does, but you got to remember the 10 Commandments. The problem I have is because the Bible was penned by men, there is a hell of a lot of influence in the Bible of human thoughts and ideals and explanations.
Yeah.
As somebody said, it's been translated so many times. The original text had to be translated into Hebrew for anyone to be able to understand it.
Correct. And like I said, I don't say there's. I believe, like for me, I believe in the Holy Father. Like our Father are pretty much my God, right? I don't believe what's written down.
Losa, everybody in this world now has been brought up with those beliefs instilled in them, because that's how. When you're born, you've got no beliefs whatsoever because you don't know shit.
Yeah.
And you learn that from your surroundings and your family and from what you're told and everything that gets done about you. These things you learn as you go along. You're not born with them automatically.
No, I understand.
What you're born with is curiosity and questions and all that kind of stuff. That's the one thing you are born.
Well, like I said, I don't belong to a church. Like, you know what I mean? I don't belong to a church.
I know,
and it's
but
just my home belief.
There is more than one type of religion out there, and for generations, those religions have been taught to their generations.
Correct.
Yet none of them are the same enough for them to say that they are the one true religion, even though everyone says we are the one true religion. So the question that comes up with religion that bothers me is, generalize religion in people's faith. Why is one better than the other? And there's no proof to say which one of those.
I would never say that.
No, but there are a lot of people who do.
There is. You know what? There is, and it can. You know what? It doesn't even have to go like to Islam or Christianity. It could just be Christians fighting with each other.
It could also be Muslims are right and we've all been wrong this time. We just don't know. The bottom line is religion is not the benefit of man. Faith and belief and that type of spirituality is the benefit of man.
Yeah.
Which religion you choose to express and exercise that spirituality is up to
like
you.
I said, there's a lot of people who do paganism. They believe in an anti-religion, or they believe in like satanic things. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, paganism is a general term for anybody who's not religious.
Yeah. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying there's a diverse of religions worldwide. Okay, I have a faith. I don't push it on anyone else. I don't say this God is better than other. I have my own, and I believe in my own God in my own house. I don't go to a church. I don't say you should believe in this person or this person. You can walk the walk. You go if you want to learn about God. You can walk into the church yourself. I'm not going to teach you. That's my opinion, and that's how I stick to it.
Yeah, well, I am an atheist when it comes to general religions because I don't agree with
if that's your belief. You know what I mean?
But when it comes to faith and spirituality, I'm pagan.
Okay. Well, I don't think you're pagan.
I'm pagan. Take my word for it. I've been practicing a pagan religion for 30 years. I believe the earth and everything on it is the power of humanity and not the heavens above.
Okay. I believe something like that too. Like I believe
our benefit. Animals are our benefit. The world in general, sunlight, all that is our benefit, and they're the things we should be thankful for, not some religious thing that came on that said that we should be.
Completely understandable. Completely understandable.
So when you say that you've lived past lives, do you believe that you've lived in different realms and lived the same life over?
I get very strong deja vu. So strong that that I know things before they're going to happen, like maybe that day or even a week happening coming up. So that's what the whole thing is. I think I've been on a rotation probably 40, 50 times. And each time I've changed certain things where I didn't do, and certain things didn't happen where I think I changed time for myself. So, you know what I mean? Like it's strange, but I don't know. I can't explain it, you know? And it's like, I have a bit, like he's saying, you know, I don't blame anybody because it's hard. Religion is the hardest thing to understand in the world. And you know what? And the worst thing you could do is force a religion onto somebody.
Just hold on. We need to keep an eye on the chat. So far, everyone's saying exactly what we're all saying, and people are saying church, Christianity, and everyone's pretty in agreement with their own way of doing things.
Yeah.
We've got Bigfoot Silver, High Seeker says, as we grow older, experience various situations, awareness, we get our feathers ruffled, hearts wrinkled, toes stepped on. The older we get, the more jaded we become. I think that's a little bit pessimistic.
Yeah, that's really pessimistic.
I do believe the older we get, the more wiser we get. So the more reserved in our decisions we get, because we know the outcomes can be so varied and not always good. So we get a little bit more slower and a little bit more reserved and a little bit more cautious because we've got wiser as we've got older.
Yeah. And the worst thing I find too about religion is people killing for their religion. That's what I don't like.
I believe
that's where I become an atheist real quick, where I disagree on certain things, where if it's this and this and you cannot do this and you cannot do that, everyone has an equal right to do.
I disagree with religion. I agree with spirituality. I believe our purpose on this world is to educate the next generation and move on.
Probably.
And if we've got to go through 3 generations of existence to do that, that's what we're there for. We're there to pass our wisdom, our knowledge on to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, thereby improving each generation as we go along.
Yeah.
Other than that, what happens to us after that? Well, let's have fun with that when that happens. And I'll tell you this much, I can guarantee you folks, if I find a way to come back and tell you what's going on, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Are we actually improving the next generation, or are we making them worse?
Yes, we are. We are improving the next generation. But you got to remember, Hannah, the older we get, the more of us there are, and the more of us there are, the more likely we're going to make errors, and the more of us there are, the more likely factions are going to step in and become more powerful than the other ones, and things go that way. It has been proven in history that what we are going through, we have been through so many times in various forms, and it's all been restarted in various forms. World War One, World War Two, Crimean War, War of the Roses. All these wars that we've had have all basically done the same thing in smaller and smaller and smaller increments.
Yeah, and
We're going to go through this stage where all of a sudden we're just going to go, shit, we don't like our life anymore. Big upheaval's going to go on, and then we're just going to come out with something new.
Well, we have the thing, what's happening in Germany now, where they want to have all electric cars by 2030, right? And I'm going to ask them this. You have to plug in an electric car. You have to plug it into a socket to make the batteries power up. And I'm going, that's going to be virtually impossible to charge all those cars.
Because Lothar, you know as well as I do, we are also developing better solar panel technology and so on and so on. So for that to happen, it is a possibility, but not as soon as they can.
Something's wrong with your microphone, Gava.
Sorry, I moved it.
Oh.
So basically, if reality is to be reality, you're either going to be rich to be able to charge your car on the grid, or you're going to have solar power.
Yeah. But
Solar
there's going to
power,
be
individual solar power can do exactly what we need to do, provided that the batteries improve as they have been doing for the last 30 years to a stage where everyone can either store them or use them, and they'll be just as efficient as each other.
I still think it's a big lithium scam because Germany and Australia have the biggest lithium deposits.
I agree. Sorry,
worldwide.
I agree. Don't get me wrong, lithium is an improvement in batteries, but it's not the improvement.
No.
There are more
Can I ask a question? I don't know if you know more about lithium batteries, but how poisonous is lithium?
Yeah, it's not something you want to put back into the world after you've used it.
Okay, so it's that bad.
It's the same as how poisonous is uranium. Uranium's a natural product, but how poisonous is, well, after we've used it, it's useless. We can't do anything with it. We can't even store it without causing any problems.
Okay.
I don't think lithium is any better than that in respect. It may be minorly compared to uranium, but generally it's like, what do you do with it after you? It's like rubber. How bad is rubber in the world, really?
Mm-hmm.
We're having so much trouble. We've got plantations of rubber sitting in countries that people don't know hardly about. We've got fires, but once they go into rubber, don't go out and they just burn forever and ever and a day. It's one of those things we invented, which is absolutely wonderfully brilliant idea, but we screwed it up, and now we don't know what to do with the waste that comes out of it. There has been talk about using hydrogen batteries.
Hydrogen bomb cars.
Yeah, well, actually, hydrogen and those type of liquids are actually good for storing electric charges.
Oh, I gotta go smoke a cigarette.
And they're so renewable.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be
It's
listening.
not funny, but they just haven't done the technology where it's efficient.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but it's like they're pushing this agenda. What I find really strange, they're using the children to sell their product. And now, because Australia and Germany are running out of lithium like crazy, that the next biggest deposits are in Iran. And I noticed as soon as America and Germany run out of things, wars start happening for some strangest reason.
Because the two countries that are using them and getting the benefit out of it now want to be able to go over and use them to get the benefit out of that. That country says, money to be made here. They're going, yeah, no, we'll just come over and bomb you.
Well, here's one thing where I found a key and a clue. The Australian Prime Minister is in the U.S. right now with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump throws out the Iranian card again when the Australian Prime Minister is there.
Yeah.
So I find those two things kind of really strange. Do you know what I mean? Like up here in Canada, we have the lithium up here, but it's not the proper one. Supposedly, it's like it's not the highest grade like Germany and Australia has.
Yeah.
But like Australia is they're losing. Well, they don't have that much left, and then Germany barely has anything left. So,
yeah, but the problem is it's like Beta and VHS.
Yeah.
The only reason why VHS took the market is because they did a better campaign to prove that they were the right one. It's like the lithium we've got. The only reason our lithium is so good is because that's the one that they focused all their energies on developing processors for. Who says the other one's not as good if the processors for dealing with it and using it aren't used as much as the other ones?
Yeah, and then I just find like there's this propaganda going on in Germany right now because I speak German. I watch German news, but
as if Germany doesn't know anything about propaganda.
I know, but here's the one thing: it is scary how bad this is getting because everything I watch from Germany has to do with battery operated cars and don't drive SUVs. Don't drive big cars. Oh, they want all the trucks off the road. How are these people going to eat? The trucks deliver the food. And I just find it.
There was a big thing about having driverless trucks for a while.
Yeah, but they also are running cables across the highways in Germany now, just like a train. So it has so the truck becomes electrified when it goes underneath the power lines.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. You got to remember, though, even in this day and age in Australia, we have driverless trains.
Yeah.
We have remote control trains transversing across Australia.
Yes.
Anyway, we've gotten off subject.
Oh, sorry.
The subject is: does God use technology?
Maybe.
Bye, Hannah.
What happened?
Well, that's the whole thing. Does
I didn't mean to do that.
Do you think that like I don't believe God is using technology. I don't think that would ever be happening. I don't think we're a computer simulation. I think we're flesh, and I don't think we're robots. I don't think we're in a game. I think and that's what a lot of people I think would agree with me that we're not a simulation of something. We're like our ancestors built the place. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe technology is an invention of man. It's not an invention of God. And I don't think we're a simulation if you think we're a simulation of something.
But on the same token, don't get me wrong. I understand.
I'm not saying that we're a simulation.
The question is, looking at the Matrix.
Okay.
Take the Matrix as a possibility of how life could be, just as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the ability of the Matrix be to give us the impression that we are who we are, what we are, and life is all about what it is all about?
If it was another dimension, it could be, yes.
Yes, that's what I mean. It could. You see, the thing is, it could be another dimension. It could be all the things that we say if that, and if I'm correct in saying that, then the possibility of us being a simulation is very high.
Yes, because then if it's another dimensional, because a two-dimensional plate is pretty much flat, right?
Yep.
And what is it that famous scientist talked about dimensions? And
that
4 dimensions and 5 and 6 dimensions.
You know what the 4 dimensions are, don't you?
No, because that wasn't explained to me what a 4th dimension would be.
Okay.
But
so the first dimension is length.
Okay.
Second dimension is width. What's the third dimension?
Well, that would be height, right?
All right. The fourth dimension is time.
What was it in the fourth? Okay, 4th dimension is time. What would be the 5th one then?
I'd have to fully researched. I used to know it. I don't remember it at the moment because I was just blown away by the fact that, hold on, I never considered the fourth dimension to be time. But when you think about it, yes, that would be the most logical dimension. Fourth dimension
Well,
is
yeah, because you have Father Time, right? So Father Time would be a dimension, what they would
well,
say.
yeah. Time is always moving. It's always going forward. You're never going back in time. You're always going forward. So it's
Because that's
always
what, because in Freemason, in stonemasonry, what we call Jesus Christ would be would be the watchmaker's son. So the Father Time being God, and then we'd call the watchmaker's son Jesus Christ. So that would be a word for Christ. So there's like different words. So maybe that fourth dimension would be, but like the fifth dimension or sixth dimension, you know. But you know what? It's a pretty heck of a good simulation, if it is one. Like, you know what I mean?
the fourth dimension is time. Doesn't say what the fifth dimension actually is. Much of the early work on the fifth dimensional space was attempted to develop a theory of that unifies the four fundamental interactions.
See, I thought it would be color.
It could be.
You know, because if you look at it, I believe there were, like, for me, I always felt like there was a missing color. Like we're missing another color. And I don't know what that color is because we have all the colors we have. We have reds, blues, greens, yellows, you know what I mean? Whites, blacks. But I always find that we're always missing another color, another solid color. Because that would be a different dimension where we could actually see a different color.
I reckon the fifth dimension is gravity.
Okay.
I'll have to have a look at this up. Anyway, we'll discuss that later. So you don't believe, in your opinion, that God uses technology?
I can't say that. I can't say that to true fact because I can't prove it.
No,
I
no.
couldn't.
Do
You know,
you believe that he uses technology?
You mean like being in a dimensional thing like that? Are you explaining like he I would think, yeah, maybe.
Actually, you explain what your whole idea of this question was for.
Okay. What I'm saying is, like, the technology that he uses is for our afterlife. But he's somewhere else, like on another planet or something, wherever God is.
Okay, another realm or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
And he's got this database.
Okay.
It's always watching Earth. And it's a signal, a very strong signal that reads your mind.
Okay.
And it is anything that you think is always put into this database. It's always.
And I could tell you, I'm gonna give you a yes answer on that. You know why?
Why is that?
Because that answer has been answered for you already in the Bible when Jesus says, God knows what you want before you pray.
Right.
That's because God is God. That's got nothing to do with technology.
No, but could be something like that. You know what I mean?
So let's take the idea of God
is
is all
using technology for this? Is he using technology
that
for
I don't know. That I can't explain to you. I don't know. I mean, if you
that's his question. That's the discussion we're having.
Yeah,
do you think that there is a possibility that when you die, you are uploaded into God's computer to live your afterlife according to everything you've learned and dealt with, as it were?
Possibility, probably.
Are you a Doctor Who fan?
I've watched Doctor Who a couple of times, so yes, I'm not a fan, but I know of it.
There is an episode in there that's called The Library.
I think I've seen it. Yes.
Right, where people were dying in the library, being turned to ash, and it turned out that the computer that runs the library was uploading and saving the souls because there was an infection or a virus or something in the library itself.
Okay.
And while they were uploading it, while they were in the database, they were being regenerated into a simulation that the computer was giving them, where life was perfect and they had everything they wanted.
Right.
So that's what Bugsy is basically coming up with. It does God use that kind of technology to give us the afterlife that we've been promised?
Could be, I would say, almost a yes on that.
It'd be a very logical way of doing it, wouldn't it?
It would, because if you look even on, like, you ever seen Star Trek: The Next Generation, where they go in that room and they can go back into the 1920s and it's a simulation?
Yeah, hologram,
Like
right?
Yeah, hologram, stuff like that. It could be like that. Because if you look at it, if you really look at planet Earth itself, I believe we're not from here. Because if you look at the pyramids and you look underneath the pyramids, they have these huge, huge coffins. Okay, and I find it really strange that no one can give you an answer. Why in the hell would they give you these big? Who would make these big items like a coffin so big, then put the pyramids on top of them? Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't even make sense anymore. And why, like certain stories, like the book of, or like Noah's flood. Like if you go to generations around the world, you hear about that same story. It was like probably either the biggest news whatever happened on the planet, and everyone knew about it. Well, if everyone knew about it, then that means that doesn't make any sense, because you would be related to Noah. Because if he was the only one to survive, that would make no sense, right? So there's a lot of stories, like even in the past and the thing, but we could be a simulation. Yes, we could, and you never know. I don't know completely. I can't give you an answer that I can't physically go into with a reality thing. But I have a strong belief that something like that there is a higher power using higher technology.
Like a super advanced technology.
So advanced that it puts us back into the Stone Age. Do you know what I mean? Like we're the monkeys beating the other monkey with a rock.
Right.
Okay. That's our technology.
And the whole issue of that analysis is, no matter how advanced we think we are, they're always going to be that much more advanced, because they've been advancing just as quick as we have.
Yeah.
If not quicker now.
Right, quicker. Yeah, that's
not quicker, because their technology is so advanced that they can just do whatever.
Yeah, but a technology goes even quicker if you put back time once again. So if they got the way of going back in time, or setting time back, but not for themselves, so they keep on setting. We go like this whole cycle. So we live, die, grandfather lives and dies, great grandfather lives and dies, keeps on going, and then it resets itself. But they don't reset. They get more knowledge. Do you know what I mean? Because they had all that time to get all that knowledge.
Right.
And there's, like I said, there's people now who are saying that they believe that time is starting to screw up on itself. There's this whole thing going on right now with the Mandela effect people and certain things where they're saying certain things are missing, certain things are spelt different. And that's where a lot of the beliefs come from, where they said either time has changed or certain things have not been figured out. If anyone doesn't know what the Mandela effect is, a lot of people believe Mandela died in the late 80s before apartheid became free, and he didn't become president. So there's people who believe certain people have died, but now who live. Bible changes, stuff like that. It doesn't say the lion and the lamb anymore in the Bible. It says the wolf will dwell with the lamb.
Yeah, and things that people remember in their childhood have changed as they've grown up, and they can't see any proof of where it was. Yet they have the memory of it.
Yeah.
Even though apparently some people are coming up with photographic evidence, Coca-Cola's changed its symbol and this kind of thing and that kind of thing, and some slogans said one thing and they now say another thing, and nobody ever has proof that it ever said the other thing.
Yeah, and then the Ford logo didn't have this little swirl in the F and just a straight one. Volkswagen symbol was together, not apart. Like the
Yeah,
B and the W.
and the problem with these things that have been brought up is a lot of it is human perception,
Yeah.
and can
Oh,
be
it is.
argued that people had an interpretation of what they saw instead of reality, and all this bullshit. And there's a lot of arguments for it and a lot of arguments against it.
Yep.
But it's the same with religion, basically.
But that can make actually your theory almost possible, where they're actually using technology to throw us back in time to gain more knowledge for themselves.
And that people have also used the argument that certain photos prove that there is time travel, so therefore whatever they're doing is exactly what they're doing.
I still laugh at those photos. There's a whole bunch on the internet called the Time Traveler, and I'm still laughing at them. It doesn't make any sense. So.
Yeah, like some of them, they say that they have a phone in their hand from the 1950s. It's not really a phone; it's just a little handheld radio.
Or not even
Or
that. Maybe something
or
else.
she's just scratching and it's a shadow.
Yeah.
And then there's another one of the guy who's dressed a little bit different from the people surrounded him, but nobody actually took into consideration that the uniform he's using is the uniform of one of the football teams of the era.
Yeah.
But because it looked different in the photo, he's a time traveler.
He's a time traveler.
It's like there's a theory that there's a woman who was taking a photograph of JFK's murder that they can never find because she was a time traveler.
Oh my goodness.
The problem with technology is it is bringing up anomalies in things that exist, but it's also giving people the ability to doctor some of the things that they're seeing so that it supports.
Hey, Gaffa, I got a question for you. Do you remember the movie 2001: The Space Odyssey?
Vaguely.
Okay, there's a scene in that movie with the apes standing next to an obelisk.
Yeah.
A big black obelisk, like pretty much like a big black square.
Yeah.
What does that look like to you?
Well,
like
basically, yeah. It's
right.
it's a little bit dirtier than the one the apes were doing, but basically, yeah.
I'll clean it up for you. Okay, so it looks like the big obelisk. So you guys can look this up, and the monkeys are around it. So we're the monkeys with the toy.
You need to clean your phone a lot more than that one.
Yeah, I know. It's dirty.
All right, look, I got things to do, Muggsy. I thank you for having me on the panel, mate. It has been interesting. I hope I haven't annoyed anybody with my views and thoughts.
No, I don't think so.
Definitely not.
And opinions, but I do a lot of thinking, and I reckon a lot more people out there should do a hell of a lot more thinking and a hell of a lot more accepting. That's the way I say it. Question everything, even if it doesn't change your faith and your beliefs. Still question everything. You don't learn any more than what you do. Catch us all later, folks.
Bye.
Now,
Later, Gaffa.
Good
day.
Can you lot do me a favour?
What's that?
What's that?
Bugger off.
Bugger off.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.
No, but I do believe there's like a lot of stuff in. I had to stop watching movies because they throw stuff in there. What really I found, because I not also like, I don't really pay attention, but I pay attention to the backgrounds more than I do and the objects in the movies. And if anyone watches that movie, The Space Odyssey, the 2001 Space Odyssey, you'll get what your cell phone is there for. They predicted cell phones in that whole movie, because Hal is actually Siri.
Hell is Siri?
Yeah, you ever seen Hal? Hal is like the robot of the spaceship. And he's like, "How are you, Dave?" And like he's like a really spooky person in the spaceship. And it's just a robot, an automatic robot in the spaceship, what goes wrong. But they always bring up this obelisk, this big black obelisk, what looks like your cell phone, like a big black cell phone, like, you know what I mean? It looks exactly like it. The monkeys are playing around it. and it's like they won't leave it alone, and it hums, it makes weird noises, and it's almost where Dave, the astronaut, is in the cell phone trying to fix its bugs. Because Hal, who's actually Siri, is bugging out. If you actually ask Siri certain things on your phone, she gets it all wrong. It's like you can't ask certain questions, or, it won't get it right.
Right.
It's the same thing like the movie Hal, like in Space Odyssey. You have to watch that movie. I know it's an older movie from the 70s, but you got to sit down and watch that whole movie with attention and not explain, but you have to put Hal as Siri, and you have to put the obelisk as your cell phone, and you'll get the whole movie. And it will freak you out because all the symbolism in that whole movie is about the cell phone. Because when the first movie, and then if you watch the second movie, it's almost the same thing. It shows what the computers are going to be doing. It will freak you out. It's like the most scariest movie you can watch. If you know what it's about. If you watch it and you pay no attention to it, it's like, I don't know. They're in space, right? You're not going to pay attention.
Right. So how many people in chat have seen the movie?
And I think the people in chat know if they really go back into it, and then I recommend to watch it again and just use, remember, just change the words around Hal as, as Siri. And it sort of puts, it's like someone went forward in time, didn't understand what it was, and went back in time and wrote this movie. Because the movie is actually about going to Saturn.
Oh.
Okay.
Container Man wants to know if it has anything about Velcro.
About what?
Velcro.
Oh no.
No, nothing about Velcro, Container Man.
No, not really about Velcro, but it's just you'll find really strange stuff in there. Of course, you got to remember the United States has pretty much landed on the moon and stopped going there, but the movies wanted to keep on going with certain things with the technology. Right. And at the beginning of the movie, you'll find a spaceship in a circle to make gravity. It's you have to watch the movie. And if you haven't seen this movie, anybody, you need to watch this movie like this week so you remember it and you're fresh in your mind. You could probably find it on YouTube in parts if you can find it. But they don't as soon as it's on YouTube, they'll take it down because it's a Freemason movie. All the actors in that movie are Freemasons. It's almost like a prediction movie, and people just don't know about it.
There's a book, and I've been sitting here while you're talking and trying to think of this book that it's from it's in the public domain, so it's that old that it's in the public domain.
Okay.
And that's basically what it is too. It's a prediction book. It predicts a lot of
Oh, you mean 1984?
Is that the book?
Yeah, it's 1984. I think someone knows that book with who wrote that book, and that shows everything what's being predicted, where people are being controlled, like in China, with their photos and stuff like that.
Yes, it is that book. Yes.
Yeah. So in the I've read it, and I think it's George Orwell.
It is George Orwell. Yes. Okay. Yes.
So I've read the book a long time ago, and I didn't really understand it too well because I didn't like reading really, really good stuff. But then I read it or had it on CD, and it was a little bit better because I could just lie back and listen to it.
Right.
But here's the strange thing. He is using a lot of different words from different books. So the other book he's using is Hitler's Mein Kampf. That's what he's actually Hitler's book he wrote is called My Struggle. There's a lot of stuff he's grabbing from that book. So that's the whole thing. There's a lot of stuff what I believe a lot of people don't write their own stuff. They have ghostwriters. Like for the person who wrote the Harry Potter books, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I believe she didn't write them. I believe she stole them from the London library where she worked. Like I said, there's lots of books. There's only one print of them, and there was only one print ever made. They're put in the library, and that's the only volume they have. She probably grabbed the volume or two, rewrote the names in it, and heck, she had a good book, didn't she? Because she did an adult movie but flopped, right? You can't go from like making a really good movie, okay, and a good thing what you're reading to a flop. It doesn't even make any sense afterwards. So there's, like I always say, she didn't write that book. She just changed the names in the book.
A lot of people do steal from the public domain. Well, I mean that's how Disney became what it is today. Is they stole stories from the public domain, and then
Well, no, they stole a lot of books from the Brothers Grimm from the 1700s. And
but they're in the public domain.
No, they weren't. They're actually copyrighted in Germany. But he stole them anyway because there wasn't a court system set up at that time. So what he did is he changed the story enough. Every Walt Disney story in that whole book, well, not all, but a lot of the stories are from the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah, they are. And if you look up books in the public domain, those books are in the public domain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, but they weren't before.
Right.
Yeah. So there's like certain books they are in the public domain where you can copy from them or do certain things with them, but there's a lot you cannot. So,
Right.
But actually, if you read 1984, he does mention God being a machine, so that might be interesting for you there. So,
Yeah, it would be interesting.
yeah, like you just have to.
What it is, it's not God that's the machine. It's not God. It's not that God is the machine. It's just he's controlling this machine.
He has to. He's God. See, look at I'm not a Freemason, but a lot of Freemasons believe in a mirror image of God. Okay, and what they believe the eternal God, who's God, and his mirror image built the planets and built everything.
Just like this right here, like say you throw a fork in the floor and you're sitting there looking at it, you want it to disappear or reappear or whatever. There's got to be some kind of machine there to control that, like some kind of technology machine.
I don't believe that's a lot of stuff. I still believe there's a lot of nature working with something. Okay, because like I said, you have to understand this. We still have. Okay, you have to think this. I don't think you have kids, right?
No, I don't have any kids.
But if you have to understand is if you made children with a woman, okay, and you had your first child, you wouldn't think that way. Okay, because that child is part of you also, right? It's not just part of the. And I think you would understand there's more nature involved also. Because if you look at it, we're all animals. We just call ourselves human because, and then, a lot of people say, hey, what, we were all like we picked nuts and we ate plants. No, we ate meat. We were meat eaters. Okay, like people just don't understand. We ate everything we could get our hands on. And people just don't. Well, no, people didn't eat this back then and did this back then. And like, there's certain people you have to understand is what's really strange is still to this day, they won't eat certain stuff because they're religious. They're religious people. Like the religious aspect of people will not let them allow to eat certain things. Like Jewish people, Muslim people don't eat pork.
Right.
Okay, why? I eat pork. There's nothing wrong with it. But
pork is good.
I know, but that's how strong their belief is, though. They don't eat it because they said it's dirty, right? And it's not kosher or halal for the Muslims. See, if you're a really authentic Jew, everything has to be kosher. That means inspected by a rabbi. So someone else is touching your food, looking for bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I do that? I know how a bug looks like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hypothetically, you have a garden in your home and you cut off the lettuce, you're going to go wash the lettuce off. And you know what I mean? If there's any bugs in, you just wipe them off, right?
Right.
You're not dumb. You don't need someone else to do that for you. You could do that yourself. Okay. And then in certain cultures, they eat bugs. That doesn't, like, you know, or they believe in certain weird objects or something like that. And, you know, what doesn't even make any sense. But it makes sense to them. If that makes sense to them, go right ahead to it. Like, you know what I mean? That's their belief. But you have to understand is you also, like, there's also, why do Amish people live how they live? You know the Amish people, right?
Right.
Okay, so they don't live with electricity. They live very plainly. They all hang out in their community. Okay, why don't they all have computers and cell phones? Why don't they have electricity or use solar panels at least? You know what I mean? Or drive cars. They're all in horse and buggy. Why are they doing that? You know what I mean? There's always and like I said, they have when their children get 18, they have you know, like they can leave for, I think, what was it, 6 months or whatever, or half a year to go
I
see
think
the
when they're
world.
like 16, they go through Rumspringa.
Yeah, Rumspringa or whatever. Like they can go see the world or
Right.
do what they want to do, right?
Right.
It doesn't, and it's like they all go back. Because you know why? Family is really strong. When you always, that's the whole thing with Gaffa, and understand what but you have to understand is a lot of the religious things has to do with family. If you love your family, you will possibly do the same religion, right? And if you look at the Scientologists, it's the same thing. There's families in there. That's why that community exists. If it was just single people in there, like you just joined and you didn't bring your family in there, that religion, or not even religion, that weird sect wouldn't even exist. It's because it builds their family up. You know what I mean? They're all family members in there.
Right.
So you stick where you feel comfortable. If you're not and you'll do anything for your family. Like I guarantee, you know, if your dad or something needs something from like the pharmacy down the road and it's a snowstorm and you can't get there, you'll go there by foot.
Right.
You'll do anything for your family. If you love your family, that's what you'll do.
Right.
And people, like, that's what a lot of people do. And that's the same thing with religion. If you're like, listen, my family is so diverse. I got Muslims in my family. I got Jews in my family. I got Christians in my family. I got people who don't believe in religion at all in my family. I got everything in the book. Okay? We all do our own thing. We don't care what the other person does. That's how you have to live life. I mean, there's a lot of questions a lot of people, you know, can't answer, but, you know, I don't want to know. You know, like, would you really want to know what he's doing there and what he's running, or how he's running it? I wouldn't care. As long as I'm up for today, I'm good for today. I think the chat room would agree with me. You know what I mean?
I think Freaky Girl is right, though. I think that the rabbi has to be there to make sure that the animal's slaughtered in a proper way.
Yeah, not just that.
Like blessings and stuff that go along with.
Yeah, well, there's a blessing to go with it, and if it's even a head of lettuce, it's the same thing. Everything has to be kosher.
Right.
Rabbi, even the grapes for the wine, everything else.
Right.
Even like women after their period, they have to go to the synagogue, go to their bathhouses they have there and get washed. Some people actually bring their dishes there and they get washed there also once a month. On Sabbath, on Saturdays, they can't do anything on the Sabbath. So on a Saturday, what they do is on a Friday they pre-do everything. So what they do is on that Friday they take the toilet paper and put it into pieces because they can't tear toilet paper on a Saturday. The coffee makers are on timers where they set the timer so it's always constantly hot. They pre-make everything, the food, on the Friday so it's ready on the Saturday. So they take their religion really, really serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people wouldn't do that, but they do. That's their community. I'm not going to judge them and say that's wrong. No, if you want to join something, you join it. I don't care. As long as you don't involve me with it, I'm fine.
Right.
You know, because there's religions that people don't even know that they're in. And I always laugh at that, because if they join, like, we call it the, like what's happening right now in Germany with the environmental protests. Okay, and this girl Greta from Sweden, she's becoming really popular, where she's taking kids out of the schools on Fridays to go protest about the environment. She's pretty much building up a religion doing that.
Oh yeah, and it's not just in Germany. It's like kids in Nashville were protesting today for the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a religion.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the environment. Because I guarantee all those kids are still throwing, you know, if they go out to lunch or something like that. Like I'm a building manager. So every day I got to pick up garbage off my lawn, off the front lawn of my building, probably twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
They're so environmental. Why are they littering everywhere? Nothing to do with the fact.
Right.
It has to do that, hey, we protest. We don't have to do shit in school.
Well, and
Yeah.
also kids
Yeah.
are very
Yeah,
susceptible to
I understand that, but
look
like,
up to.
no one goes out to protest the war anymore. They all did that in the 60s. That was the in thing. All the hippies protested peace, no war against Vietnam and everything else. That was the atheist religion of its time. And then now it's all environmental things. Let's get all the kids to do this, because as soon as they become teenagers, they become rebellious and they won't help us anymore.
Mm.
We get them young, get them to protest, and it screws up their whole. It's an agenda what they're doing. People don't understand it. It's the same thing. If you protest with a bunch of people, it's considered a religion.
Lexi, I gotta hop off for a second. I gotta take Susanna out to go potty. So
Okie dokie.
All right.
I'll be back. I just gotta get her massage.
Okay. So, what do you think about that?
I was just going to ask you to say the same thing. What do you think about this theory that I've thought of? Think I'm batshit crazy?
No, because that theory is not new. That theory people have come up with before. You're not the
Really?
first one to make that theory. There's 6 billion people on the planet. They're going to have questions.
Right.
Now, if you type that in the internet, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I did. I came up with this theory. I've always had this on my mind for about, let's see, about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. Started thinking about it one day.
Yep.
I just looked it up the other day on the internet and I actually found something else about it.
Yep. And there's a lot of people who, you're not the first one to think about that one either. With the technology and religion and everything else, like in that same format you're thinking of. There's people who think the earth is flat.
Right.
Okay? But it's not. But they still believe it's flat because someone told them it was flat.
Right.
Okay?
I don't believe it's flat. It ain't
No,
flat.
but here's the whole thing. There's a lot of people say we've never went to the moon, and I can tell you we've been to the moon. And I can tell you on the first trip when we went to the moon, we brought something back.
Yep.
And here's the strange thing, and I could prove that. If I have a video you can watch on my channel about the moon landing. And I'm not really telling you, but there's people who know what they brought back. And if you look at David Bowie's last video, The Black Star, and he's not talking about Major Tom, he's showing an ancient object on the moon brought back. So that means the Americans weren't the first people on the moon. There was someone else before that, and it was probably thousands of years before that.
Right.
Okay. So that really, they interviewed the astronauts afterwards, the 3 astronauts, because only 2 landed on the moon. The third person was still circling the moon. They asked them questions and they looked really depressed. because they knew they weren't the first people on the moon. So it like sort of says, hey, like what the heck happened here? We got to keep this a secret. First of all, they're all Freemasons. The ones who weren't Freemasons got burnt up in a shuttle, we call it capsule accident. I think 3 years before that. You can look that up. They burnt alive. And there's a lot of people who, like, there's certain stories. Oh, we can't accomplish that. And there's always people saying, well, you know what? How does that lunar lander work with air in its tires? They wouldn't explode. Well, no, the tires didn't even have air. They were spring loaded. Like you can actually watch the guy who designed on YouTube right now, who designed the lunar lander, the rover, how they collapsed the rover into the ship. You know what I mean? These are engineers. You can't hide this from 300,000 people who work at NASA. And I always see is, go through and see what they say first. You might find certain things what you might find strange. Like there's people saying, the photos are not this and this and this. You know how bright it is on the moon? Like
Right.
if you could see the moon from here. If you look up the window, you look up at the moon, you can see how bright it is.
Right.
You can imagine how bright it is up there.
Even brighter.
Yeah. Because they had their visor open just a bit. This I think it was the last I think it was Apollo 15 or something like that, or 14, I can't remember, where he had his visor open. I think it was like a little bit, and he got sunburnt within 3 seconds. So you had like a gold visor to protect you from the sunlight. He was burnt on his face. So you imagine, you know what I mean? You're not going to get burnt on the ground like that. So certain things we'll never understand. I like I said, like you ever look at these guys, they always want to go to Mars. You cannot go to Mars. You can never get back from Mars. It's like a one-way trip there, and they say, oh, you know what? We're going to fly people back and forth. You're not even get off the ground when you get on Mars. If the air is 100% carbon monoxide on Mars, you cannot breathe that. It's like you might as well just stick your mouth behind a car and breathe the air in. That's what you're breathing in on Mars.
Right.
And you can't light a flame in carbon monoxide. I thought you couldn't light a flame in that. That's what I learned in school. Sounds strange. So there's always certain things where I go, okay, let's go to Mars. And it's like, oh, how are they getting there? And like, what is it? Elon Musk. I always laugh at that guy. He builds these rockets and he goes, oh, we need to go there and we want to go there. But you have to understand is that guy's a businessman and he's mixing his dreams up with his business.
Mm-hmm.
When they build Tesla cars, they pay the employees their minimum wage.
What?
Yeah. So when you buy a Tesla car, just so you know, they pay their employees minimum wage. Well, that guy's got like $17 billion in the bank. So you cannot pay your, 450 employees you have in your auto company $5 more?
Stingy.
Yeah, greed. Like I said, there's a lot of greed on this planet. What a lot of people don't understand. It's like, what's this? And Coke. I need some Coke. Laugh out loud. Sorry, we don't got no Coke.
Yeah.
No, just certain things. Like I understand where your question comes from, and a lot of people had that question even back in the 40s and 50s. Because who brought up that question? I think it was a Seventh-day Adventist minister who brought up that question. Okay, and actually, he's related to someone pretty famous who wrote a lot of sci-fi books and stuff like that. I'll find out the name for you, but he actually made that too, where is God a computer, pretty much. So, but like I said, a good movie to watch. You got to watch 2001: The Space Odyssey. Great movie to see. to understand. But you have to change your reality while you're sitting at home watching it, because you won't understand it properly. But if you think it's your cell phone, you'll understand it. But they also throw addiction in there. Like there's this hidden agenda of addiction in that movie. It's really strange. You ever seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
Yes.
Okay, that's with Tom Cruise and that and his wife there, Nicole Kidman, whatever.
Yeah, but I can't remember anything about the movie.
Okay, and it's a really boring ass movie.
That's probably the reason why I can't remember it.
Yeah, because they don't want you to remember it. They want you to see certain things in the background. That movie's filled with satanic symbolism in the background. There's actually people who show you. You can look it up on YouTube. There's people who can actually they go through clips and they explain, hey, look at there's 666 and there's a satanic thing. There's one person he says the Illuminati. It has nothing to do with Illuminati. It has to do with all higher up Freemasonry, all past the 33-degree level in that whole movie. So it's really, really strange where people don't understand what Freemasonry is, and that's what it is. It's Freemasonry is all a sex cult, pretty much, to begin with. So you have to understand is they're based. You know the story about vampires and stuff like that, and the Wolfman. Yeah, Wolfman and the vampire stories all come from Freemasonry. You have the Alpha and the Omegas in the Freemasonry. It's the 23-degree order. See, that's where you get these stories. This is why you go to Hollywood and they always got these movies where they throw out their stuff. And people can't realize it because if they're not a Freemason or a stonemason, they can't understand it. Sounds strange to you. And I know it's a little strange for some people to understand, but there's a lot. Like, I made a couple of videos of it, and about certain rules.
I'm gonna have to watch them.
Yeah, because you have to watch them but you have to write down to yourself is listen to every word, but you have to also watch some of the background. Okay, and that's what a lot of people don't do because they're not observant. You ever seen those people who watch soap operas during the day and they're so addicted and so glued? If you say something to them, they freak out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of brainwashing. It's called character lock. And what happens is people get locked into that character because that character is their hero or let me put this nicely, a sexual addiction. And mostly women watch soap operas. So they're addicted to either one person in that soap. Now, if they're sitting with more women and watching it, guaranteed more women will like all the different people in that soap. Do you know what I mean? They'll be addicted to that soap, but they will only talk on a commercial. They'll never talk while the show is on. And that's like programming. That's why they call it television programming, because you're getting programmed. And they know this. They're not stupid. Like there's scientists, doctors who do all the research to sell items to you on a commercial. They're not stupid. I can tell you right now, what are the commercials that everyone sits and watches in the United States once a year?
Once a year?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl commercials.
There you go. Worldwide. Why? Because they're funny. They got to make a funny thing. And they pay. Why is it so popular? Because they make people started making funny commercials since people started watching them. And it's the same thing. I know people who don't even know who's playing, and they wait till commercials come on.
I do too.
Yeah. That's programming. You've been programmed and you don't even know it. See, I had invented this program for TVs that if a commercial come on, it'd go on mute. When the show came back on, it'd take up and put it on the volume again. You can't do that. It's against the law. You're not allowed to do that. You cannot screw up with a commercial if it's on your TV. This is why if you turn on your TV, this is what really bugs me. Commercials are louder than the program you're watching.
Yeah, I know it. It bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, you know what that is? It's to bug the shit out of you. It's called to grab your attention. Most people will get up at a commercial, go get themselves a snack, and if they're still sitting there, you're just thinking what that guy said in the show, or you're talking, and it's like someone has to talk over you if you're sitting in the room with someone else.
Right.
Now, here's this. I want you to do this test, and it will freak you out. Okay? You got a smart TV?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to watch a show that you just normally watch, but watch it by yourself. Watch the commercials. I guarantee those commercials won't go up. Now, I want you to bring a person in that room. When the commercial comes on, watch the commercials go up. It's called smart TV for a reason. It knows who's in the room.
Really?
Yep. It's the freakiest thing. It will scare the crap out of you. And I have proven it many, many times.
Like I can watch YouTube, and whenever an ad comes up, it'll be louder.
Yep.
With somebody else in the room.
Well, no, not like it. Not like you have to have normal cable TV, like TV on your TV.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So not a YouTube. Like me, I got ad blockers, so nothing gets through. Right. I don't watch their stupid ads because they're all stupid. I call feminist movies what don't make any sense. Like pretty much right now, you got to understand is every movie that's coming out now this year and for next year will put every man down. That's pretty much the whole thing. What we'll do. It's going to throw women up in the air and make them high and mighty, and then all the males be little sissy fags, pretty much. That's how they're going to put the whole thing down. I know it's going to sound strange, but try that. Affect everyone at home. Sit in the room with no one in the room for half an hour. Watch the TV programming what you're watching. You make sure it's on either NBC or ABC, whatever you watch. Wait till a commercial comes on. If you're in a room by itself, that volume won't go up. As soon as you're in there with two people or more, that commercial will go louder. It knows you're doing something, talking to those people in that room. That commercial wants attention. You can't block an ad from your TV.
Now, well, how does it know that you're talking? I mean,
It's the technology what's in the TV.
in the smart TVs?
Yep, and all TVs pretty much. They had it since the 60s. First color TVs knew how many people were in the room. Yep. And I'll tell you how. Okay, the old TVs used to be a tube, so they were actually a vacuum cleaner. Okay? And if you ever touched the TV, it had static on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you always wipe the static. I remember that. And you could do it at night, and you get like all these flashes with your fingers.
Yeah.
Well, one of my uncles was a TV repairman in Germany, and he goes, well, there's sensors in there. It shows that on TVs or on TVs, it could tell you how much static is being produced for how many people are in the room. And he goes, it screws with the volume. He actually told me this. They've been doing this since the 60s. So they know who's in the room and how to get and it's like this. I don't know if you see. You're a pretty young guy. I'm 44. I think you said you were like 31 or 28 or
31.
31. Now, when I was a kid, I remember going upstairs to my sister's place and playing with my nephews who were all the same age as me on Saturday mornings, we'd watch cartoons. And we'd watch cartoons really close to the TV, right? That TV, pretty much, it knew we were there. It knew we were boys. Because it turned up the boy, and here's the strange thing. Back then it knew we were boys because most of the like G.I. Joe toys would come out. It wouldn't be Barbie. My niece sits in front of the TV by herself, right? And I go visit her, and she's a year younger than me. This is when we were kids. I'm actually reading a book my sister bought me, like this helicopter book and airplane books at the time. And all those commercials were female oriented, like Barbie, Cabbage Kid dolls that were out, My Little Pony. And people don't believe me to this day that the TV is reading who was in front of
I'm
it.
getting raided.
Oh, you're getting rated by who?
Hazel-eyed siren.
So
Welcome, Raiders.
might sound strange to you, but it's my belief that it's been doing this, and a lot of people believe this, and a lot of people don't. But it's called programming for a reason. It used to be our babysitter on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Right? Because TV used to babysit us, right? Like, my only father figure, because I never grew up with a father figure, was Mr. Rogers. And that goes for a lot of people, too. Or Captain Kangaroo. You guys got that guy. We never got that guy. We had Mr. Dress Up. So, we had different things, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of things where if you could program a TV back in the 60s already, and you're thinking that how did they get that technology? Right?
Yeah.
So you're not that far-fetched from your question then, right? I don't know. How old is your dad?
61.
61. Now, he grew up with a black and white TV.
Yeah.
Okay. He probably he remembers Howdy Doody. He probably remembers those shows. Ask him how many shows he knows in his childhood. Ask him what the commercials were. And I'll tell you what the commercials mostly were. Toothpaste, cigarettes, and that's about it.
Really? Just toothpaste and cigarettes?
Yeah, and then toys for the kids when they had commercials. And then it was usually a milk powder because everyone in who's born in like people who were born in the 40s and 50s were all pretty much had bone problems. So they used to give people like chocolate and stuff like that as for vitamins because people didn't take vitamins. So they'd always advertise like a chocolate mixture drink because chocolate has vitamins in it. And I noticed that was always pushed out. They filled all this stuff with vitamins because they knew the first generation through the Depression, those children were all starved to death pretty much. So they didn't have proper vitamins. So when they had kids, a lot of the kids were ill. They're very sick. But now they keep the kids around. They used to put the kids away, like in homes or mental institutions, stuff like that. Now those things barely exist because the health benefits have improved in the last 45 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a time issue. There's always a programming issue. And a lot of people say, well, what's the difference between communism and being free like an American? There is none. It's the same thing. One just programs you a little bit better, and the other one programs you even better. Same thing.
Well, I'm fixing to end this stream. I was planning on ending it at 11:30. It's 11:37.
But we had a good discussion, though.
Yeah, we had a great discussion.
Write that down so you don't forget it. Space Odyssey, 2001.
All right, I'll put it in.
You can find some stuff about it on YouTube. I recommend it. And like I said, if you put the cell phone, the black cell phone, like the case, it looks exactly the same. Okay, buddy. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for having me on.
All right,
See you
thank
later,
you.
chat room.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming to my live stream. What, Bashful? Drop the link. I'm ending the live stream. It's 11:38. Bye. I'll see everybody later.